I'm here in Fort Worth, Texas at the Main Street Arts Festival. This is one of the most competitive art festivals to get into in the United States, and it attracts some of the best artists from across the country. Everyone's booth here is filled with top-notch art, and even more impressive than that is every booth here is really a work of art in itself, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video.
Another festival, well, here I go, singing songs that no one knows at all. Sometimes I'd rather be back home with Small, picking in the kitchen and smoking pot. I played every dive bar here.
Alright, so I'm getting ready to start the day here. The hours for this show are super long, so I wanted to make sure I got a really good night's sleep last night and had a good dinner. The hotel I'm staying at has a full kitchen in it, and I made some really delicious vegan taco fajitas for dinner, and I brought the rest for lunch today, so I'll be well fed throughout the day, which is really important for me, keeping up my energy and good mood, because if I get hungry or tired, I get like super cranky, and that's not really good for sales. Setup here is really tight because everyone's booth has to fit under these big long tents that they set up in the middle of the road, and there's not even an inch to spare between booths and absolutely no storage behind your booth or anywhere. So I designed my booth layout to create this special little back room to store my print bins and some extra stock in. There's lots of really great and creative booth setups here. Since it's such a hard show to get into, not only does your artwork have to really stand out, but your booth has to be really excellent too. And from walking around a bit here, I'm really enjoying looking at everyone's layout, maybe even more than the artwork this weekend for a change.
Dropped my transmission back on 65, went deadhead with the Red Clay River Band. I made every scheduled show until in Brooklyn that borrowed van got stole.
Yesterday a woman came to my booth to talk with me, and she's an artist and wants to start doing art shows, and she had seen some of my videos, but she was feeling very discouraged walking around the show here because everyone's display looked so good, and although she's confident in her artwork, she didn't feel like she can put together a professional enough looking booth right now. And that got me thinking about my first booth setup when I first started doing shows over 16 years ago. And at the time, I spent my entire life savings of just a few $100s to buy a cheap pop-up tent and make some grid walls out of animal fencing. It was really the best I could do at the time, and it worked, but it also kind of looked like shit. So for the next few years, I just took any money that I made doing art shows and rolled it back into improving my booth. And every year I would focus on improving just one thing in my display and making that one thing just a little bit better each time. Graduating from a pop-up tent to a more sturdy tent, from homemade grid walls to mesh panels to pro panel walls. And I figured if I could just get a little bit better with each show I did, in time those small improvements would really add up. And I'm still kind of doing that, in fact, just trying to get 1% better at something with every show that I do. See, not only is art itself a skill that can be improved over time, exhibiting and selling your artwork is also a skill that improves with time if you work on it. And there's no shame in starting small and working your way up. Just about everyone has to do it that way. And I think about where I started when I first started doing shows and where I am now, and it's just worlds apart, and I still feel like I'm nowhere near the top, and I have a long way to go to get to where I want to be. There really aren't any art show prodigies that can just do a show and be excellent at it right away. So I could really understand why this woman who has never done an art show before felt discouraged walking around the show here and looking at a group of 200 plus artists who are at the top of their game here and feeling she couldn't compete with that when she hasn't even tried yet.
Amen, yeah, hallelujah. Take what they give out, but don't let it get to you. Hallelujah. Yeah, man. Go on, kick me in the head, watch me get right back up again.
So what's my point? Well, I know a lot of people who watch my videos are new to doing art shows or maybe just looking to get started. And just because you don't get into that big show that you wanted to do or your booth may not look the greatest yet, we all had to start somewhere. There are shows that I still don't get into that I really wish I did, and there are things about my display and my artwork that I still want to get better with. And just getting that 1% better with every show really adds up over time. And that's also my approach with this YouTube channel. My first videos really sucked, and I still think most of my videos suck, but each one just gets that tiny bit better, so make sure you subscribe to my channel here and watch me grow. And don't let your limitations be setbacks, but rather motivations for improvement. And speaking of improving, I put together a list of my top 5 free artist resources, and you can check them out in this video right here.
Go on, kick me in the head, watch me get right back up again.